Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Rachel Williams begins now.
Good evening, everyone. It's the news Tasmanians have been waiting for with bated breath. Stage 1 of coronavirus restrictions are easing from midnight tonight. It includes increases to the amount of people allowed for gatherings and enables restaurants and cafes to begin limited dine-in operations. But authorities are warning the public needs to continue to adhere to social distancing requirements to ensure no new outbreaks of the virus occur.
It's been a tough few weeks for Tasmanians, with social distancing restrictions changing our way of life. At long last, some good news. The light at the end of the empty street beginning to shine through.
In Tasmania, we've currently got coronavirus under control. We've been through a lot as a state, some very difficult times, but as a result of our combined efforts, we're now able to carefully and gradually start easing restrictions.
Stage 1 begins tomorrow, but what will that look like in practical terms? A return to indoor and outdoor dining at cafes and restaurants, with restrictions.
Restaurants and cafes in all settings, including restaurants in pubs or clubs, hotels and RSLs, to open, and they'll be allowed to seat up to 10 people at a time. Now, this will vary depending on a venue's capacity and setting, and importantly won't include the premise staff.
The number of visitors from outside the home allowed lifted from 2 people to 5.
Does this mean that we can all sit together on the couch or around the kitchen table? No, the simple answer is, if you're bringing people into your house, ensure that you socially distance.
Outdoor funerals can be attended by a maximum of 30 people. Gatherings indoors and outdoors will be allowed a maximum of 10 people, including real estate open homes and auctions, religious gatherings and weddings.
Local parks and playgrounds will be open for groups of up to 10 people. Boot camps can be held outside in parks for up to 10 people. Local government community facilities, including libraries, online centres, will be able to open from tomorrow.
The Premier reminding Tasmanians, unless you're travelling for essential reasons, you must stay home.
Police will still be managing the rules. More than 80 vehicles were checked yesterday. 5 people were turned around and told to go home. They were out of their home when they shouldn't have been.
Tasmania currently has 18 active coronavirus cases. The reduction in demand on our healthcare system allowing for new areas of the Royal Hobart Hospital's K Block to commence operation.
We are gearing up this week to move women's and children's services into K Block. K Block's 2 paediatric inpatient wards on level 6 will be the first to open.
The message clear. As people begin to get out and about more, social distancing is here to stay.
We know the last 8 weeks has felt like 8 years, but we really do need to take it slowly. Again, today there are lots of people starting to get about and move about. We do call on them to be safe, to maintain the social distancing.
If we're not cautious and vigilant, I'm quite concerned that coronavirus could take off in Tasmania like flu in winter. We can't have that happen to us. We mustn't risk a second wave of cases, and we can't risk having to increase restrictions again.
Ebony Ablett, 7 Tasmania News.
Tasmania Police is investigating a serious 2-vehicle crash on the Huon Highway at Grove yesterday evening. Police, SES and Ambulance Tasmania were called to the crash shortly after 4 p.m. yesterday. One of the drivers was transported to the Royal Hobart Hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. The highway was partially blocked until 8 p.m, with investigators remaining on the scene. Anybody who may have witnessed the incident or has dash cam footage from the Huon Highway at that time is urged to contact Crime Stoppers. The state's peak home builders body wants the first home builders grant extended to help stimulate the industry during the coronavirus crisis. Master Builders Tasmania is calling for the amount available to be doubled to $40,000. They also want it temporarily open to anyone building a property from scratch.
It's about encouraging, particularly those who may have been considering building their new home, who have now otherwise put that decision off.
I've tasked Treasury with providing me with advice on the best way that we can stimulate the economy with a focus on construction. I'll await that advice, and once I've got that advice to hand, we'll have a look.
The association says many of its members have seen 6 to 12 months worth of work slashed to just 2 to 3 months. They haven't hit the water in months, but that hasn't stopped Tasmania's yachties doing what they love. In fact, they're preparing for a state championship in just a few short weeks. But like everything in the age of coronavirus, there's a catch.
Caution tape and close signs are slapped across the club, but sailing is a way of life in Wynyard, even if it requires an internet connection.
Initially I thought I'm not much of a gamer, so I thought I may not be actually that great at e-sailing, but it's been interesting how realistic it is.
E-sailing has become the playground for passionate yachties. Winning still requires good knowledge and judgment.
Picking wind shifts, which end of the line to start on, the normal things that you would have to navigate in a race.
Jessie Andrew Arthur is the world's female mirror sailing champion. This week she claimed a virtual title at the club.
Surprising how quick the heart rate gets and get a bit of a dry mouth at the 1 minute countdown, and it almost simulates the feeling of that stress before the start.
Hobart's Will Sargent is still able to hit the water as a solo sailor, but with his upcoming European and Australian competitions cancelled, the only races to win are those online.
Need to find something to do to fill in time, and e-sailing came about, and the entire sailing community's kind of taken it by storm, I suppose.
Later this month, he'll join Jessie in a state e-sailing championship. The 19-year-old isn't thinking about packing away the yacht to take up gaming.
No, I don't think so. It's just a good bit of fun. It's great to get some of the experienced sailors racing against some of the younger guys. It's good experience, good fun for everyone.
Not as nice as having the wind through your hair, but it'll do for now. Sean McComish, 7 Tasmania News.
2 Tasmanian breweries have joined a national program giving back to frontline workers battling the coronavirus pandemic. Specially marked 4-packs of beer are being delivered to essential workers, thanks to donations from appreciative locals.
It's the Australian way of saying thanks. Current restrictions mean we can't shout our essential workers a beer at the pub. However, we can still buy them a drink. This 4-pack will eventually find its way to a Tasmanian, out on the front line during the coronavirus pandemic.
During it, I'm sure there's some long hours that they've done, and coming home to a surprise 4-pack on the doorstep is probably something that might brighten the day a little bit.
Moobrew and Launceston's Van Diemen's joining a national campaign called A Good Beer Always Helps. Essential workers recently registered online to receive the tasty treat. And for as little as $20, family, friends and even strangers can purchase one and send it on its way.
Most people have jumped at the opportunity because it is a really easy, simple and a really great gesture to say thank you.
Nearly 120 Tasmanians signed up, with dozens of deliveries already made. Both breweries say the gifts are helping brighten someone's day.
The smile on their face lights right up, and they can't quite work out what's going on. If we're having to leave some on a porch or a doorstep or something, we're normally getting a message back.
It's been very much a surprise and a very humble response as well. So it's been fantastic.
Donations are still being taken, with locals urged to dig deep.
You know, beer is almost a universal currency to say thanks very much in a lot of places, especially Australia, and that bonding experience has been carried through in that Australian way of donating a 4-pack or a 6-pack of beer.
John Hunt, 7 Tasmania News.
The easing of coronavirus restrictions in Tasmania will see soccer players returning to the pitch from tomorrow. Football Tasmania says clubs will begin a slow reintroduction to training, needing to meet certain requirements before practice can resume, including establishing a COVID response management plan. CEO Matt Bulkley says players of all ages are ready to get back into the game, prepared to adhere to strict training guidelines.
Smaller groups and no contact in terms of actual games, so more kind of passing and some shooting and that sort of thing, but very different to what it might look in even a month's time.
The new guidelines have been developed in conjunction with the state government, modelled on recommendations from the Australian Institute of Sport.
Good evening. Showers in the west eased throughout the day today. Launceston reached a high of 17, 16 across Hobart, Burnie and Devonport. 19 was the state's top about St Helens and Ouse. Smithton 17 and 16 across Lowhead and Grove. On the close-up, mid to low level cloud over the west. Further out, mid to patchy high-level cloud sits over the southwest of WA, while mid to low-level cloud is seen about the coasts of New South Wales and Queensland. Tomorrow, a cold front moves along southern WA, while several troughs sit over the mainland. Northerly winds tomorrow 10 to 15 knots, swells up to 4 metres in the west and south and below 1 metre in the north. Tomorrow's forecast now: Hobart 17, mostly sunny, and 16 across Dover and Ouse. In the north, a light morning shower or two about Launceston and Devonport. Scottsdale 14. Burnie and Stanley tomorrow 15, Strawn partly cloudy and 16. 16 at St Helens, and partly cloudy across Swansea and Ross. Looking ahead to the 3-day forecast: Tuesday, showers in the northwest extending statewide. Wednesday, showers easing in the east and southeast in the evening. And Thursday, showers in the west, far south and Bass Strait Islands. Capital cities 19 and partly cloudy in Perth tomorrow. Melbourne 19 and Sydney 21 and partly cloudy. And currently partly cloudy in Hobart, Launceston 12 and Devonport 13 and partly cloudy. That's all for weather tonight, Rach.
Well, that's all your news for now. Thanks for joining us. Stay safe. Good night.